Good evening, everybody. If I can ask you to take your seats, if that's okay. Okay. Good evening. My name is Kieran Walsh. I'm the director of the Irish Centre for Social Gerontology, which is based here within the Institute for Lifecourse and Society. I will give you a proper welcome in a few minutes, but first there's a series of other welcomes that have to be given that is a little bit more important than mine. So I'm going to invite our interim president, Peter McHugh, Professor Peter McHugh of the university, to give some opening remarks and to welcome you all to Galway.
Thanks very much indeed, Kieran, and it's really nice to be here with you this evening. Our dús cúpla focail as Gaeilge, our native language here in Ireland, is Misha Peter McHugh Uachtarán Éachtramach na Hallscoile agus fáiltearóibh go léir chuig an códal iontoch seach in Ollscoil na Gaillimhe. And that means I'm Peter McHugh, and I'm the interim president of the University of Galway, and I want to welcome you to extend the Céad Míle Fáilte, the 100,000 welcomes to you, to this wonderful conference that we have here today at the University of Galway. I understand that this conference is being attended by over 150 international delegates, with a strong presence from US, Canada, Australasia and Asia. And the theme of the conference, or the title of the conference, Ageing and Social Change, the 14th Interdisciplinary Conference. So you're all very welcome to that. I understand that there are outstanding internationally recognised plenary speakers and respondents, so you're welcome, particularly welcome here. And that the conference will give perspectives on items such as economy and demographics, public policy, health and wellness, society and culture, and how these relate to ageing and social change. The conference is organised by the Common Ground Research Networks, a not-for-profit corporation committed to building new kinds of knowledge communities who are innovative in their media and forward-thinking in their messages. And that sounds wonderful, and it's fantastic that that organisation have sponsored this conference. So, I understand that the theme of the conference, this particular 14th edition of the conference, and well done on the commitment and the intensity over the years to keep going on this important theme, of course. The theme is Diversity Over Time, Changes in Individual, Organisational and Place Contexts. This theme acknowledges that there are a number of major changes and transformations happening that are connected to or intersect with ageing, which we must consider and account for in effective and equitable ways, and that's certainly the case. It's critically important because, as we know, by 2050, the proportion of the world's population over 60 will nearly double from 12% to 22%, with every country experiencing a growth of that magnitude. And in terms of the impact of this, longer life brings with it many opportunities, not only for older people and their families, but also for society as a whole. And a comprehensive policy response must address the wide range of older people's experiences and needs. And you good people here over the next 2 days, through the various perspectives you're giving, through the various topics that we talked about, will certainly be contributing to that debate, and well done. So, just coming back to our institution here a little bit for a minute. The Irish Centre for Social Gerontology, who are the entity hosting the conference today, was established in 2006 as a multidisciplinary research centre and is part of the Multidisciplinary Institute for Lifecourse and Society, ILAS. And this beautiful, I'm sure we will agree, this beautiful building that you're in is the home of ILAS. And well done to all involved and all the other centres involved in the development of this institute and its success. And just to talk about multidisciplinarity, this has been a theme of our university for very many years, looking at dealing with problems from the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary perspective. We've been doing it a very long time. For a matter of interest, my own area before I took on this job is biomedical engineering, and that has been part of the whole medical technology activity here in the city of Galway, and our university's response to it. And of course, that's all about the interaction of traditional disciplines, biology, medicine, engineering, etc., to produce new technology. So this idea of multidisciplinarity, we've been doing it a long time. We know that intersection of the disciplines is where the real added value comes nowadays from the point of view of generating new knowledge and looking at new insights. And the way we need to educate our students and graduates into the future to be flexible and agile to tackle the problems of the modern world. So in the context of ILAS, I want to congratulate our colleague Professor Caroline McGregor on her recent appointment as the director of ILAS and wishing her very well in that role. As I said, the University of Galway has a long track record in interdisciplinary ageing research, and this is across sociology and the arts, economics and business, medical device and digital innovation, and clinical and health sciences. And a central part of that, of course, is the Irish Centre for Social Gerontology, the hosts of this conference over these days. Just a few words, if I might, on the university itself. You will have experienced the wonderful weather we have here at the moment, and I'm going to thank the organisation team in a moment, but the prime thanks to them is for organising that weather. Isn't that just fantastic? So I know in my job now as president over the next number of months, etc., that I know who I'll be calling Kieran. I'll be calling Kieran here when we have to roll out the good weather for future events. So well done. And with that good weather, you have seen the campus, so you've seen some of the campus. And it's a proud history. We've been here for 178 years. This university was originally founded as one of the Queen's colleges back in Victorian times in 1845. And it's the theme, the societal theme of your conference is so poignant, really, in the sense that that was the time of the large potato famine in Ireland, and the building of this university was primarily a famine relief project to give work to the people, to give them a wage so that they could survive. And of course, we have a wonderful legacy of all of that toil with this fantastic campus we have going north-south up along the River Corrib. I was just talking to Kieran as we were coming in. I got the most up-to-date stats from the team today, and we have almost 20,000 students on campus now for an Irish university. In the context of our country's population, that's very substantial. 18% of whom are international, from over 122 countries. We have 2,500 staff. 27% of those are international. So we really are an international, outward-looking institution, and all very proud of that. And that is significant and growing, and we have 135,000 graduates, alumni of the university, and we are in contact with those all the time. Our university activities are structured in terms of 4 colleges. We're a comprehensive university, one of the set of comprehensive Irish universities, state-funded universities. We've 4 colleges within which there are 18 schools across all the regular disciplines, and there are 6 interdisciplinary research institutes, of which ILAS, the building you're in, is one of those. Coming to some thanks, I want to thank and congratulate the local organising team. No small feat to pull a conference together. I did one myself 2 years ago, and it's a lot of Excel spreadsheets and a lot of checking things and a lot of keeping all the data coming in. And we have a wonderful conference office as well, who are a fantastic resource in relation to that. So congratulations to them. Of course, I want to thank the team members here, the local host committee, Professor Kieran Walsh as the director and conference chair, Christine Delargy, Onion Elema, Brigine Carroll, Sharon Walsh, and Eamon O'Shea, and their team of 6 PhD students and early career researchers that they've working with them at the moment. So, thank you once again for being here. I hope everyone enjoys this conference, our beautiful campus, and the wonderful activities and enjoyment that the city of Galway can offer to you. So I hope you're able to sample that over the next few days. Tású agam go manfis tatnav as an códal an campus Ulscola Allin agus an cahar iontoch na Gaillimhe. Gorma hagov galéir, thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Professor McHugh, for those opening remarks and for setting some of the tone about that need for a little bit of interdisciplinary inquiry as well over the next few days. So now I would just want to introduce you to Philip Constance-Cope, who is the Chief Social Scientist with Common Ground.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. There we go. It's such a beautiful day, such a beautiful time to be here. I really appreciate you drawing yourself away from the sun and being at our opening session today. I'm Philip Constance-Cope. I'm the Chief Social Scientist of Common Ground Research Networks. I'm going to give you a little bit of scope about what we are doing here to support this community. Last year we became teenagers, 13. Now we're 14. We are, growing into good citizens in the world, and we've come here through a wonderful history of partners, where so many are in this room right now with us as well. So it's wonderful to be here and see so many familiar faces and new faces as well. There's two parts of this conference that organisationally is part of our agenda that I wanted to bring your attention to. The first, which is obvious, we've been doing this for a few years now, is that we have no printed program. We have no printed program because they're environmental disasters. We read them and scribble some notes that we can't read and throw them out. But the real reason why we have done it is that what we're trying to do is use our event microsite as a time capsule that we are adding content to during this conference, but also when the conference ends. What do I mean by that? So you'll see an asynchronous online audience, online presentation tab. There are online delegates. Those online delegates should have uploaded some online content, video, PowerPoint with sound and such. We also encourage you to do the same, whether you've done it now or whether you can do it. You could add this after the conference, is to add that content there as well. And what we're trying to do is build this resource that you can come back to. So we've got 2 or 3 years now of this content which you can view. And so we're trying to think about what are the temporal boundaries of this conference. We kind of turn up, we spend a few days together, we get inspired, and we kind of disappear off into our own worlds. And we want the conference, in a way, not to end. So you'll see at the bottom of these presentation pages, you can request content from people. If it's not there, you can add them as a peer. So there's a whole set of social dynamics that we are trying to build that go on. And what I mean we is that this is not technology that we have taken off the shelf. We also build our own technology. So we're interested in the nature of scholarly communication, how it operates, and how you interact with content. So that's kind of the agenda, and we ask you to be a part of that agenda by being active within the space. The other thing that we want to do differently is we want to get you out of these rooms. There's a certain pedagogical, dynamic to what we do. I stand at the front, or someone stands at the front, and everyone sits there, and you're all very well behaved, hopefully, and then so on and so forth. And that's a great way to deliver some kinds of research, but there's other ways that we can engage with each other and communicate in more informal, practical spaces. And that's what we do through the case study day. Or the case study morning, right, Tams? Yes. And so what you'll see in the program is we have 3 activities where we get you into places of practice. I want you to choose one of those that best interests you, and we're going to go there and really see where research hits communities and where it hits people. And that's a really important part of what we are trying to do here. The Research Network is not just a conference. We have a wonderful journal. I'm happy to say that we were recently accepted into Web of Science. So in the pyramid scheme of academic life that we all play in, hopefully this will be helpful to us all. And so I encourage you to submit to that journal. But one of the things that I also want to make you aware of is that it's your journal. And what I mean by that is in your conference registration is a network network membership, and that membership gives you access to the 14 years of published content that we have in that journal. So go in, use that. It's a great resource. If you like the kinds of things that you hear in the next few days, then you really like what's in that journal. The other thing is that we like going to people's homes. We've spent 14 years going from home to home, and we are now in Kieran's home to a certain degree. And if you're someone who'd be interested in bringing us to your home, we would love to hear that conversation too. So with that, I just really want to thank Kieran for all the work that he's done bringing this here, and I know he's the representative of a group, Christine as well, who not only saved me from getting my car booted today, but has done a really wonderful job making sure we got to where we are right now. So let's give them a round of applause, please. I'd also like to recognise our Research Network Chair, Andreas. He has been an intellectual light for all we do, and it's been personally and professionally extremely rewarding to have been a student of his, to understand the way his world works, and for him to be generous enough to open the doors to his community as well. So let's give him a round of applause. Andreas, you put your hand up. He's also very shy. The other group that I'd like to recognise before I leave is our emerging scholars. So could they stand up for 1 second, please? Yes, don't be shy. Yes. We'll give them a round of applause. So every year we have an application process. We believe it's important. So these are selected people, and we are very proud of the group that we have this year. It's important for us to have emerging voices at the front of each room, guiding conversations, and practically making sure that we do the things that we need to do. So thank you all for being here, and congratulations. I think that's it for me. I hope you have a great few days. If there's anything else we can do for you, please come and talk to me or my team, Tamsin and Alba, at the front desk. And yeah, I think that's it.
Great, thanks very much, Philip. And just finally to Andreas, who's the chair of the Network of Aging and Social Change Research Network. Please.
So. Yeah, thank you very much. What I hate in this job is that I always have to talk after Phil, and I never can be so positive like this Australian guy. So he is always inviting. I try to be as inviting as he is, but I do. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to this conference. And we have been to Krakow and to Ancona after the pandemic. So it's the first time or the third time after the pandemic that we have the chance to meet. And I think it's wonderful to be in a beautiful place like Galway. Knowing that is a lie, because we are all blinded by the weather at the moment. It's always nice to be here, but it's always not that sunny as we learned. But we are honored to have this year's conference here in Galway, and the IRIS Center for Social Gerontology and the Institute for, now it's I have to read Lifecourse and Society. I never realized where you work. And I'm thankful for Kieran Walsh and his colleagues, not only for hosting the event at this wonderful place, but also for arranging the great program. And I think it's really great. And I'm also thankful that you arranged it without any questions. Whom can I invite? Also, I think that was really helpful. And I'm also grateful for all of you for sharing your work on aging and social change here at the conference. Let me also take the opportunity to announce next year's conference. So nobody did this so far because it's also a little bit egoistic, because it will take place on September 25th, 26th, and 2025 at Linköping University in Norrköping in Sweden, which means it's coming back to my home. And the special focus will be on aging, intergenerational solidarity, and the polycrisis. A strange combination maybe, but it's not as strange as it sounds like. Maybe crises like the COVID-19 pandemic can be seen as a kind of a stress test for intergenerational solidarity. And if you look at the discourses around it, it was not just a stress test, but also really a stressor. And there was the pandemic that has sparked controversy in various countries about the moral relationships and responsibilities between generations. And in view for challenges that change in the future horizon of societies globally, this is a quite important topic. So we want to address this in a special focus next year. And I hope to see you there. Well, Sweden is not out of the world, but it's, well, we also can't promise good weather, and in particular not in September. At the moment, we have the same weather here as it is here. So I'm a little bit, no, I'm not sad, but I'm a little bit jealous of not being able to be home and being out on the water there. But well, that's how it is. I don't promise anything for next year, but I can promise a nice, interesting program for next year's conference, and I hope to see you there. And for now, I'm looking forward to have a nice, great conference in the next two days. Yeah, thanks, and yeah, see you later.
Okay, so I won't keep you for too long, but there is a couple of things that I want to say just to open the session, but also maybe just obviously some words of thanks as well. So firstly, it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you all here to Galway and to the Institute for Lifecourse and Society. Thank you to our interim president, Professor McHugh, for his kind opening remarks and for his support in having the conference here as well. Thank you to Philip and to Andreas for reaching out and inviting us to be a part of this conference series, which is a very important opportunity for us, but also a good opportunity to actually continue the dialogue that everybody has referred to in terms of the interdisciplinary element. I guess, as you've already heard from the President's opening remarks, there is a strong complementarity between that interdisciplinarity and that scholarly focus of the Ageing and Social Change series, and indeed some of the work and values within this university and within this institute as well. And that's values around enabling equity, around enabling justice, and around bolstering a sense of belonging. So I would see those themes as running through this program and running through the series in fact as well. From the perspective of our centre, the Centre for Social Gerontology, the conference in many ways reflects, I suppose, a long-standing commitment to actually trying to build an interdisciplinary sense of exploration around the experience of heterogeneous older populations, but also the kind of the public policy conditions that are required to really support older people and to empower older people to be full citizens within our societies in so many respects. So this has been nurtured through former directors like Eamon O'Shea, Tom Sharp, but also the various different team members over our almost 20-year history, and that took me a little bit of a surprise given that I was there at the start, so that was a bit worrying. But aside from that, it's also embedded within our research teams. So our themes are around place and community, are around work and retirement, are around long-term care and dementia, but also around inequality. And it is about actually trying to leverage equality to actually really support this idea of older people as full citizens, which is really important. I have to confess that in preparation for today, I did reread the special thematic focus, which I think I can take the blame for, as suggesting a diversity over time. I have to admit, I did sit back and go, what did I mean by that? It seemed a little bit vague, a little bit convoluted, a little bit distant, a little bit uncertain. And then I realised after reading the full description that that was exactly the sense that we wanted to try and capture, at least that's my excuse. And for lots of reasons, it is reasonable to suggest that at the moment, in the context of ageing experiences, in the context of diversity of those ageing experiences, we are somewhat in a transitional state. So the President mentioned these various different transformations that interact with ageing as a social and biopsychosocial process, and those interactions certainly mean that that sense of transition is perhaps a little bit more pronounced right now. So whether we're talking about environmental, digital and economic transitions, whether we're talking about global and geopolitical crises, whether we're talking about the reoccurring upheavals in our kind of social and political understandings and rhetoric around those understandings of what it's like to be and like to grow old, these are all things that are constituted and constructed in various different ways. So setting aside the continuing legacy of COVID-19, of course all these factors do give rise to certain concerns. Concerns around insecurity, concerns around rights, concerns around social solidarity, and concerns around institutional ageism that not just affects older people today, but also future generations of older people. And I guess this is the kind of topics that all of you are interested in as well, given that you're here with us. So all of these factors implicate our lives on the levels of individuals, on the levels of organizations, and on the levels of communities and places. And they lead to questions about how we should equip, if that's the correct word, individuals. How do we equip organizations, and how do we equip places and communities to really be able to support us as we grow older as well. So that's really the key focus of the conference, and that's why we wanted this focus. But there's also, I suppose, significant opportunities we should acknowledge. So opportunities around policy development, or opportunities around certain policy agendas. So whether we're talking about healthy aging, active aging, or age-friendly communities, or any other construct that might have taken root in your particular jurisdictions, there is certainly some elements there where we can think about unpacking what we actually need to do for the future. And I think, aside from recognizing all these uncontrollable pieces, one thing that is controllable is our ability to actually interrogate what the meaning and values of these different constructs and concepts are. So we need to think about what we mean as individuals by and value in relation to these different ideas and objectives. We need to think about how our organizations and institutions support the empowerment of agency in relation to these meanings and values. And we need to think about how our places and communities may hinder, may bolster, or may mediate these kind of factors as well as we grow older. So I suppose just drawing all this to kind of a semi-conclusion, sometimes as a research community, we do assign these kinds of things to being categorized as complex and usually dynamic. I don't think I've ever written a conclusion where I haven't used the word complex at least twice. But ultimately, I suppose there is some simple, straightforward messages here. From a policy perspective, we probably need to think about, over the next few days, the different papers that we hear about. We need to probably think about how we actually really meaningfully integrate and build evidence, and a broad base of evidence that can be integrated in to make better policy, how we actually scale up our policy processes to actually be able to support older people, and how we include the voice of older people really importantly. From a research perspective and a scholarly view, I suppose, in addition to engaging older people in a considered and ethical way, we also need to think about drawing on the depths of our disciplines and pushing beyond those disciplines into a stronger interdisciplinary dialogue. And I suppose this brings me back to the conference series. This is something that under Andreas's direction, this research network has done very well for the last 14 years. So it's really a pleasure for us to host it again. So it's on that basis I want to thank Andreas as chair of the Aging and Social Change Research Network, Philip as the chief social scientist, and the Common Ground team for inviting us to host the conference itself. If you haven't met Tamsin and Alba, I'm sure you will meet them, and their work in supporting this conference has been really immense. I do have to thank our own research support officer and our local team here for organising this event with us, and certainly Christine Delargy has ensured that everything runs smoothly from our end, despite my best attempts to actually mess things up at different points. But that's a key element for us. Finally, I should also thank the Institute for Lifecourse and Society here. We certainly asked colleagues to kind of put themselves out to facilitate this conference, and they've certainly done that. And also the School of Business and Economics, which we're affiliated with. And just a very quick word about that school. The school is obviously focused on traditional ideas of business and economics, but they're very much focused on the notion of public good and what that can be. And they have, as a kind of a strategic priority, focused on health and aging as a key element of that. So I think that's testament to that commitment to public good, which is really important. So after all of that, I do have some health and safety messages to say. Number one, if there is any sort of an evacuation at all, hopefully there won't be, this is one exit door that I would encourage you to go through, or the two exits at the back, and we would all gather at T1 just outside in the car park. There is bathrooms on this floor, on this level, just over here on the right, and there's also bathrooms on the ground floor, just over here on the right as well. So we're delighted that such a rich and strong program has emerged through the program development process. And I suppose that has really been enabled by all of your contributions. It's also been enabled by the various different plenary speakers, discussants, and plenary panels that we put together, and that who've generously, really generously, given their time to the program itself. So we're really excited about that. So with all of this to look forward to, I want to wish you the very best for the few days. I hope you find the conference very stimulating, and I hope you find the conference really rewarding in terms of your piece here. So thank you very much.